As we come to the end of 2025, I've been reflecting on some of the comments that I've seen or heard in the fashion community. And I'm not talking about my own followers in particular, I'm just talking about things I've seen from around the web. There's a lot I agree with, but there's a lot that I think are just really bad takes. They're either completely wrong in my opinion, or can easily be disproven. So today I'm going to go through some of them and offer you my thoughts, and hopefully it will create a good conversation. Baggy pants are timeless. Alright, this one I think I actually did see in my own comment section on TikTok. If you're not following me on there, by the way, you might be missing out. The comment was from someone adamantly saying that baggy pants are timeless. I talk a lot about timeless fashion on my channel, so I feel the need to weigh in here. I'm not bashing baggy pants at all. I really love some of the outfits I see with them. The thing about baggy pants is that they are very much on trend, and I'd even say they're at the peak of their trending powers right now. Everywhere you look, there's outfits with baggy pants. And when a trend is in full swing, it's very easy to believe it's going to last forever, especially if you're heavily invested in it. It's kind of like being in the eye of the storm. Everything around you looks normal, but there's turbulence around the corner. And in this case, that turbulence is a different trend. From what I can see, baggy pants were trendy about 20 years ago, and they're trendy again now, but they're not timeless. For me, timeless means you could wear something in pretty much any decade and it wouldn't look out of place. I'm not sure you could say that about the baggy pants we're seeing today. However, recognizing that you're in a trend and knowing that it's probably gonna pass is a powerful mindset. So despite what I've just said, don't be discouraged about loving a certain trend. White t-shirts aren't that good. The next comment is the reason I decided to do this whole video, to be honest. It's from a senior style director at Esquire claiming that white t-shirts are the worst and most inferior t-shirts you can buy. One of his points to back this up is that they get dirty. For example, yellowing around the armpits and getting dingy in the wash, whatever that means. I mean, I guess so, if you're not looking after your clothes properly. Or wearing an aluminium-based deodorant, which is known to cause yellowing. But I've had white t-shirts for over 10 years that I wear a lot and are still in great condition with no yellowing. He also says they're begging to be stained. I will concede that white is easily stained, but that doesn't make them bad t-shirts that you should avoid. A lot of coloured t-shirts will stain and look just as unsightly. I think these two arguments come down mainly to user error, to be honest. And they're heavily outweighed by how versatile and essential white t-shirts are. They really are the pocket knife of the clothing world. Nothing beats a good white tee. His final argument is a bit of a weird one. He says that if you're not in good shape, white t-shirts will basically make you look even worse. And that's something I definitely disagree with. And I'll tell you why in the next point as it relates to this. Being fit is the fit. So the next comment that I just alluded to that I've seen all year round is being fit is the fit. Meaning a lot of clothes and outfits only look nice because the person wearing them is in good shape. Look, I'm not going to be totally ignorant to the fact that there are people out there who seem to look effortlessly good in whatever they wear. And perhaps being in shape can accentuate that, but in my opinion, those people still require a good sense of style and what actually works for them. Even though it looks effortless, they do have some level of understanding about why certain things suit them. And like I said, even though being in great shape can sometimes support that, it's definitely not essential. I've seen plenty of people of different shapes and sizes who have incredible style. In fact, there's a number of influencers out there who specialize in taking an outfit from a model or actor and then recreating it to show that it can be worn on any body type and still look good. Also, I know it's an easy and obvious person to talk about, but Matty Matheson is a prime example of someone who doesn't have that typical Hollywood physique, and yet he's one of the most stylish people in the mainstream. Everyone, including myself, would love to look like him. So yeah, being fit is the fit isn't true in my eyes. You need to spend a lot of money to look stylish. The next one isn't a single comment, but more of a general feeling people seem to have when it comes to fashion. And it's the belief that you need to spend a lot of money to look stylish. Anyone who's followed my channel for a while will know how much I disagree with this, because I'm all about getting the most value when buying clothes, and looking your best no matter how much you're spending. Okay, I will admit there's some stunning pieces out there that will look amazing, but will cost you a pretty penny. However, they're not essential. Let's take the Our Legacy mini leather jacket as an example, which I actually own. Lovely piece, but costs $1,500 if you were to buy it brand new from a retailer. However, firstly, I managed to get it at a third of the price simply by being patient and waiting for a sale, which is what I do with a lot of my clothes these days, no matter how expensive or cheap they are. Secondly, I could have gone vintage for a very similar look at a fraction of the cost. Simply searching for a black leather jacket in eBay returns many results with a very similar look. I don't always recommend cheaper alternatives and would often say it's better to save up and get the real thing. However, sometimes they just make sense, especially when they look so similar and there's such a huge price difference. I'd also say searching for things beyond your normal clothing stores can really pay off as well. The majority of things we see are pushed to us because of influencers like myself or just really good marketing. But there's loads more brands out there making amazing pieces at reasonable prices, meaning you absolutely don't have to spend loads of money to look stylish. Your outfit is too basic. 2025 has been a year where I've seen a real divergence in the fashion community between loud outfits and simple outfits. A lot of people have been really taking things back to basics to a point where I've seen comments saying that they look too basic. But in my opinion, some of the best outfits of all time are about as basic as it gets. In many ways, I think it's more difficult to pull off a good looking outfit using only simple pieces. Mastering how to make the most of a plain white t-shirt and pants is a bit of a style superpower. It forces you to think more carefully about fit, shape, silhouette, proportions, and in my case encourages me to invest in better made basics that in turn often look better on body. Sometimes people who wear the loud, gaudy clothing are the ones who are least confident in their own style. It takes very little effort to put on a shocking colour or busy pattern and call it fashion. Yes, it probably gets more attention, but perhaps not always for the right reasons. That being said, I don't think they should be avoided either. For me, the ideal situation is something in between, with the base of the outfit being made from simple, low-key, well-made pieces, and then topped up and accentuated with one or two standout items. Nothing suits me. Another comment I've seen loads this year is people claiming that nothing suits them. My sentiment here is quite similar to what we talked about earlier about being fit is the fit. I think there's a style out there for everyone, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. Sometimes it can just take a while to find. It comes down to knowing what you like, understanding what suits you, and having the confidence to try things out. Of course, if you need help and inspiration, then that's what my channel's all about. So feel free to follow along and hopefully you'll get some value from it. I could have gone on longer with this video because there's so many conflicting comments and opinions out there, but these are the main ones that I really wanted to address today. Have you guys seen any style comments that you thought were totally untrue? Let us know down in the comments below. But anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you next time. Ta-ra.